kind of.
Hi, it's Lucy and Kath from catchingrainbowsfertility.co.uk, and today we are going to talk about miscarriage and the effects of the healing process. I think the little hidden hurdles and bumps in the road that maybe people don't tell you about.
Yeah.
It's never quite what people would expect, and I think in my experience, both personally and working with lots and lots and lots of ladies who've had miscarriages, is there's something about this window where people, and even you, can assume it's fine, like to be really cut up when it's happened, but then you're expected to get gradually better as the time goes by. And I think actually it really, come on now, you should be all right by now. And I think actually you can sometimes be okay even-ish when it happens, and then you can dip down. I think it's just surprising sometimes how, as the weeks go by, you expect just to be gradually going up, and actually you can go down and up a bit more, and then down further than you were before, and then up further than you were before. And I don't think we're really necessarily prepared for that, and the triggers maybe that
come along and set those feelings off. No, I don't think we are, and I think we put a huge amount of pressure on ourselves to deal with it, to cope with it, to try to move on, to try and be fine, to try and get ourselves together, be positive, look on the bright side, all of those things. And actually sometimes I think the most incredibly loving thing we can do is just allow ourselves to feel whatever we feel, and whether that's up or down or within 3 months or whether it takes longer than that, you know, it's just about saying, actually, this is me. This is about what I've been through. Yeah, it's not about how it worked for her or what happened with them, or it's just about saying, this is what I've been through, this is what it's meant for me, this is how I'm feeling. And ironically, the more we do that, the more we take the pressure off ourselves, or don't buy into the pressure that anybody else is putting on us or anybody else's expectations. I think almost the easier we do manage to come through and come to a place where it doesn't feel quite so hard, or it doesn't feel quite so raw. It does actually allow us to move through those processes, those bumps, those steps more gently, I think, than when we're like, come on,
power through, come on, you can do it, stay strong, you've got to stay positive, you've got to keep going. And actually you don't need to stay positive, you don't need to keep going, you need to give in to whatever it is that you're feeling. Even if you feel like you'll never peel yourself off that bathroom floor, you really honestly will, because the body will not stay in that grief-stricken, traumatic place for long. It won't tolerate it, it's not natural. And as human beings, we survive whether we like it or not. So however low we think we're going or can go, something in you will always begin to pick you up, and sometimes it needs to clear out that big lump of whatever it is that's sat there, because it can be from lots of reasons, and you know, resentment or people not understanding you. I find a lot of my ladies feel they don't qualify to be as upset as they are because it was only however many weeks. Or,
absolutely.
You know, or we'd only just started trying, or you know, anything. It doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong way for you to feel, and there's no length of time by which you should be okay or not okay. Although I have found anecdotally, I suppose, that I think there's a sort of 3-month window that's particularly an acute healing phase, and not that you're going to feel crappy and awful for 3 whole months, but just there's something about each bleed dips you down and then clears something. And so many times people have said to me, I feel like I'm never going to be okay. I am so broken. And again, you're probably still having to put your smile on your face or go to work, or you know, if you've got other kids, you're still having to deal with everything that they need, and actually you can think, I'm never going to get past this, and you do. You just, it is a process, a grief that flows through you, And sometimes the flow happens when you least expect it, doesn't it?
Oh, it gets triggered when you least expect it, doesn't it?
And you're
those
like,
moments where it's just like, oh.
Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, not here, not here.
I'm in the supermarket, I'm in the middle of work,
anywhere but where you ought to be, going, and it's not easy. But I think we were talking a little bit just now about what you do in terms of trying to conceive after a miscarriage, and how long do you leave it, and how does that all work? And you had some quite interesting thoughts about when you start trying again and when is okay. And
and it all comes down to how you feel in your heart, doesn't it? Whether it feels okay to start trying again, and that kind of ties in with some of the findings or some of the suggestions from clinics, if it's IVF that you're going through, that it's a good idea to not give it too long a window, that actually it can be helpful in terms of the number of eggs that you can produce to be able to go straight back into another cycle, even when you've had a miscarriage from a previous one. And there does seem to be a lot to be said for, if you feel able to, if you feel emotionally and physically able to cope with that, then being able to climb straight back on, if you like, and giving it another go, without feeling that you've got to give it a set period of time to grieve fully, heal emotionally, heal physically, but just being able to allow yourself to say, okay, feels right, we're gonna go for it.
Yeah, and just knowing what to do in that time, because I know sometimes you can feel like you need a big blowout, and I know I'm the kind of character that I sometimes, when bad things happen,
I need some booker shots.
I need some booker shots. Let's not go into that. But yeah, some people do, some people don't. Yeah. But I know I'm the type of person who 99% of the time I'm doing very loving, wholesome, good things for myself, and would advise others to do the same. But sometimes you need a good kind of balls to it all. Yeah. I'm just going to go and I'm going to eat a kebab and I'm going to drink. And to hell with it all. And there's something about that triggers another level of healing, like to go down and come up. But in other ways,
I think it heals your heart.
It does do something, doesn't it?
I do think it does.
So I think we should sit here probably as fertility therapists saying, after you've had a miscarriage, you get back on your wheatgrass and you should be just juicing. And in fact, after a miscarriage, I think don't think of that as a depriving time, because actually your body needs a lot of nourishment. And I would, in all honesty, say things that help your body to rebuild your blood and to nourish you and support you in every sense is really important. And it probably is a good window where, I'm a big advocate for proper chicken soup and lots of good proteins and lots of fresh vegetables and lots of rest and lots and lots of TLC, but just, if at some point you need to have a good old wheat binge or sambuca binge, then
that's okay too.
That's okay. That's fine. And please don't feel guilty about your fertility and your egg quality and your things, because we know and we have seen it proven that actually looking after how your heart feels and lining everything up with your thoughts and healing all of that as well has a significant impact on the health of your physical well-being.
It does.
And that's been proven over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And one of our favourite books, Mind Over Medicine by Lissa Rankin, will give you hundreds of examples of case studies and clinical trials that kind of prove that it's not all about just what you're eating and drinking and doing and not doing. It's got to feel right for what you need in that moment.
Yeah, how you feel comes back to how you feel, doesn't it? If it feels good, if it feels nourishing, if it feels that it makes your body relax, open up, feel warm, all of those things for me are the signal that actually this is not only good for you, but it will be good for your fertility, because all of those hormones, all those chemicals that your body's releasing, they're everything that you need to bring it all back into alignment, isn't it?
Yeah.
To bring everything back to where it needs to be.
Yeah, absolutely. So we like to cover all of this, I think, in terms of, yes, what actions you can take to nourish and support and rebuild your body, and how to cleanse your liver so that it can help to bring your hormones back to how they need to be. All of that stuff is definitely relevant and definitely part of what we believe is very therapeutic and helpful. But we also think looking after your heart and head in the process is also really important. So however you are and however you're feeling, it's all relevant and it's all important. And if you would like more information, guidance, support, tips, recipes, we've got all sorts of things on the website, certainly within the blogs, and certainly within our Haven. We've got a whole miscarriage first aid kit that's full of that practical advice for what to expect medically, physically and emotionally. So if you need any of those resources, please do come over and find them. We're at catchingrainbowsfertility.co.uk. So lots of love from us.